Happy Sunday, brothers and sisters. I'm glad that we have this opportunity to come together, or at least stay in touch every week with what is going on. Today, I want to give you a message based on our report to True Mother and all the world leaders at the Cheon Leaders Assembly that just concluded yesterday. I'm also going to share with you some of True Mother's words. In fact, I'm going to share with you word for word what she said, or at least how it was interpreted in English. So first, though, I want to walk through, it's about a 15 or 20-minute report that gives you an idea of how we're preparing, how we're thinking to advance the providence in Asia-Pacific 1 over the next 7 years. This is really just a first draft, but I hope you can catch a feel. And this is what we shared with all of the leaders yesterday, and I think many people enjoyed. So we'll go through that right now. So this is the 2021 Asia-Pacific 1 goals and strategies from 2021 to 2027. And I really wanted to start off with something that Mother has been telling us frequently, which is we can't solve challenges that we face today by human power alone. We need to create a new movement that attends God as our heavenly parent. So this is really true, and Mother has been saying this many times. Some people might think that it is just sort of an inspiring word, but it's really true. And COVID-19 is proof of its truth, total proof. Why? Because even the mightiest nations with all of their scientific knowledge, military power, and wealth were defenseless, still defenseless against this tiny virus. And even if we solve the problem of COVID-19, which government can promise you that they'll be able to protect you against every and all other problems and challenges that come? Truly, this is our human history, constantly improving, but we really can't do much more, according to Mother. We can't get any further. We can't solve the problems that we face without God. Not just without God, without attending God as our heavenly parent. This is like so deep, so simple that we might just hear it and run right past it. That means the only person that can promise you total safety and health and happiness is our heavenly parent, if you attend God. Otherwise, we're out of balance with the universe. So this is really the crux of the entire presentation. We are the heavenly parent holy community, and we need to attend heavenly parent in that way. So in terms of strategy, okay, this is a strategy presentation. And what I mentioned to Mother and all the leaders is our strategy must be first and foremost strategy of the heart. Okay, this is not just a feel-good statement. This is not just internal. This is literally our core strategy. And it can be expressed in this way: total unity with True Mother. If you've been watching my messages every week, you know that this is a recurring theme. Literally, this is how we attend our heavenly parent today. Total unity, heart, mind, and soul with True Mother. So this is what I expressed. And I also shared what we are doing to unite with True Mother. It's so easy to say, yes, I love True Mother. I unite with True Mother. I will do what True Mother asks me to do. But do we really resonate as one with her in her emotion, mind, and will? This is really each one of our core responsibilities. Look, I don't care whether you're national leader, sub-regional leader, world leader, center leader, brand new member. The most valuable person among us is, or let me put it this way, the most valuable contribution any of us can make comes from being totally united with True Mother right now. Regardless of our age, our status, this is where the power is. This is where the plug goes into the wall. So I mentioned that this is our absolute determination, not just a sort of a slogan, but this is our core of our ministry. This is our core strategy, total unity with True Mother. And there is a way to measure it. There's a way to measure this, even though it's within the internal realm. Of course, we can see from our fruits later But what I mentioned is what we're looking for in Asia Pacific 1 is spiritual rebirth. That means every man, woman, and child should be able to testify at least once, if not regularly, new spiritual awakening from relating and resonating with True Mother's heart. Now, we're using right now True Mother's memoir, Spiritual Reawakening, number 1. Number 2, this Mother's memoir is the core of our education for us and VIPs. It's our core, spiritual weapon to go out and change society. It's our main witnessing material. It is our own source of new life. It is everything. And it might seem very simple, right? This is a book that you can read in a day, and then you can say, I read True Mother's book. It made me cry. It had wonderful stories. And then we are on to the next thing. But what we're doing in Asia Pacific 1, we're not just kind of reading the book and sharing it. We really want to devour it. I hope that when you get your copy, every page can be, black with ink all around the edges. We should be really, really like just becoming one with Mother. She's given us this gift to be able to do it. So this is the core of our education. And we are translating it into 5 more major languages. We have 17 languages in Asia Pacific 1, and we're going to get this into 5 more of our major languages. We're working on that by True Parents' birthday, and we will continue. Thank you to those of you who are working hard on that. So also, based on our unity with True Mother, we need unity. Those of us who have been appointed by True Mother, those who have been appointed into public positions, we are in these positions to serve. Honestly, we're not in these positions because of our own capabilities or our own, merit. It really is the work of True Parents, and each of us has a small role to play for a certain period of time. And it's so easy for us to think that it's about me, right? This is not going to work. We have to remember that we are Mother's team, all of us. Whether we are appointed or whether we just joined yesterday, you are God's winning team. You are on True Parents' team, and Mother needs you. And however, we are completely powerless if we are divided. And of course, it's easy to say unite, but it's not actually easy to unite, because we might feel that, we want to show our greatness. So we should really be focusing on how to show True Mother's greatness, each one of us, right? True Parents' greatness, Heavenly Parents' greatness. So we have this unity with our Cheon, UPF, YSP, and also, inter-regional cooperation between Asia Pacific 1 and Asia Pacific 2. That's, because Asia was one, now divided. So President Hori and I really want to work together, but it's 2 regions. So honestly, this is like a model of the kind of cooperation we can have with other regions as well. Also, Asia Pacific 1, not only do we have, somewhere around 40+ % of the world population, we also have about 40% of the world youth population. The average age in Asia Pacific 1 is very young. And so we believe that we are building Heavenly Parents' army, heavenly army of the future, right? I'm in Cambodia now. I think the average age is 24, something like that. So you can imagine that, for the sake of true grandchildren who are going to be leading the worldwide movement in the future, Asia will be, if we do our job right, Asia will be a source of huge amounts of support for Heaven's providence, of young, strong, healthy, powerful, well-educated and trained people. So I reported about that. And also these 2 areas of focus, Chombo and finance. Please, everybody understand, we need to fulfill our Chombo, and we also need to become financially independent. First of all, Chombo, I mentioned to Mother and everybody that the way I see it, there's only 2 types of people. There's people who are Chombo families, and there's pre-Chombo families, right? So we are all destined for Chombo, and we are all destined to be financially self-sufficient. and be able to support one another. You know, I think in Asia Pacific One, we can even set our minds to this and not only be able to be self-sufficient, but even be able to contribute to the world providence. Wouldn't it be great if we could even contribute to other nations outside of our region? If we could, you know, next time the Philippines has a typhoon, maybe we could donate something instead of Mother, you know, or Africa, another great booming continent. So we want to really focus on these two things. And these two things are in everything we do. So now I'm going to go through quickly the actual strategy. These are our initial ideas, and it's divided into 5 areas right now: mass membership, core membership, future leadership, overcoming ideology, and how to support Heavenly Unified Korea being reunified. So first of all, mass membership. Mother has launched a worldwide ministry online, and we are multiplying those efforts. We're not only participating with them, but we are multiplying them. It's amazing that the only begotten daughter of God is on live broadcast TV in nations all around the world. So we want to continue to support that and use it as both a means of follow-up and a witnessing means as well. So we can reach out to people to invite them to the rallies of hope, but we can also use the next rally of hope for part of the follow-up program. It's very easy in the digital domain. Did you know that our region is home to 3.5 billion people? This is a map that was put together. These are the 20 nations of Asia Pacific One. Right now, we have about 145,000 names with contact information of people that participated in the Rally of Hope online. And we want to get those numbers up to at least 1.2 billion, which is 1/3 of our Asia Pacific One population, 1/3. That's 1.2 billion. Now, at the very least, we should try get that many people to know about Heavenly Parent, to know about True Mother, and to participate and at least in the Rally of Hope. But more than this, we also want to get them into a database. Once we have people organized into database, we can follow up and build those numbers substantially, right? So you go from database, we have various, you know, already many of you are using your cell phones more than before, probably because of COVID-19. We're using Zoom technology and all these things. So there's actually a lot of great platforms in all of our nations. Many of our nations use slightly different platforms. The point is we should use whatever tools are available and develop new tools. Also, international headquarters through PeaceLink is trying to build a whole new platform. So we will use every platform that works. But you combine that with the storage of the data, managing the data nation by nation, and then follow up, and then substantial relationships as well. So we don't just have to rely on automation, which is important. We can also follow up with the people that we invite. And there's been a great example of this in India. Thank you, Reverend Krishna. You know, following on from daily morning devotion, morning hundoke. Now in India, they have multiplied this out into, you know, I think he's going from district level, and then it's going to multiply all the way out. One of the things that I've asked the national leaders to think of is, you know, pick your top 3 people or your top 10 people and imagine those people operating at your level within 1 month or 3 months. This is how we have to think. We're not really witnessing to people. We're raising leaders. We're raising leaders. All of us are leaders, and all of us can play a role in that. So even someone that joins 1 month ago could actually be leading their own morning daily devotion. As long as they're at least once or twice a week joining with their national program, they can then go out and multiply. Look, Mother said, we are humanity's hope. That means everybody that connects with the work that we're doing becomes the hope of their village, their town. Right? So let us multiply substantially through these types of relationships. It's basically a virtual, you know, online church matrix, and it can go infinitely. this can play, this isn't everything. Of course, there's other things that we need to do together, and there's other types of education that we need. But I was so impressed with India because even with only maybe 100 members, formally speaking, they were able to sign up 27,000 real people to participate in the last Rally of Hope. So we've got many great breakthroughs all throughout Asia. This isn't boasting about, I don't have enough time to boast about everything, but this is worth paying attention to. What they're doing in India, I believe they're doing something similar in several other places. So expansion of daily devotion through peace clubs. And India has a goal to reach at least 1/3 of their entire population by 2027. That means people who will be in one of these clubs, right? All right, so you're all familiar with this substantial model of restoration in Chonilguk nations, towns, provinces, cities, and so on. So our goal is to reach 1/3 of the population by 2027. Now, when we say 1/3 of the population, we need to include everybody into this. We need to include, if you take one province, take 30% of the people that live in the country, 30% of the people that live in the towns and cities, 30% of the leaders, 30% of the rich, 30% of the, every level we need to reach, okay, ultimately. And wherever we can break through in a model is something that can be adopted elsewhere. So you know that very well. I think you've been doing better in Asia than anywhere else with this type of thinking. And so we have several candidate nations in Asia. I would like to get the number of nations up to 7, because 7 nations is equal to 1/3 of our entire region, 7 nations. And but here you have the top 4: Thailand, Cambodia, Nepal, and India. So we hope that by 2022, we can restore 3 model provinces in each of those nations. And, it might start in one nation and take longer in another, but this is our basic idea. And then by 2027, we can restore 3 model nations. Again, like I just said, I want to add at least 3 more nations to that list, up to 7, or 4 more nations up to 7. So we shouldn't think small. We should think that, God wants us to restore all 3.5 billion, but we're taking this in chunks. And this is sort of the pathway that we've drafted so far. Speaking of pathways, if we want to cooperate with the government, we need to understand what the government needs. What's the government working on? And this is a great example, what we've just seen in Thailand. Let's everybody give it up for Thailand. So in terms of establishing sovereignty, you can really see this happening at the provincial level now. The Thai government knows that family breakdown is a real problem. And so they've allocated resources to solving that problem. What they don't have is the solution to the problem. And so we know that we have the solution. But after years, decades of Jangsang and devotion, just hard work and sacrifice, True Parents' fruits are coming to bear in the great land of Thailand now. And you've heard about this through the 77 province tour. They are now not only welcoming Family Federation's cooperation, they are eager to cooperate with us and can even allocate some of those resources to help us do what? Bless and educate the citizens. So this is a wonderful breakthrough in Thailand. Thank you so much, Thailand, Thai elders. And again, this is an example of something that can be modeled elsewhere as well. So they've just finished in December the 77 province tour. I think this is something, if not already started, this is something we can begin immediately in Nepal, Cambodia, and so on. So Cambodia, here in Cambodia, I go outside, it's like a construction site. I've never seen anything like it. Certainly, there's lots of areas where, everywhere you can see the most humble situation. But then you turn around and you see some kind of 5-star situation. And you wonder, how all these things fit together. Actually, the prime minister, the government, they know that there is a growing, fast growing disparity between the rich and the poor in Cambodia because it's growing fast. And they want to solve that problem. They want to promote healthy, happy family lifestyles. And guess what? We've got a good solution for that. And that's the meaning behind the cooperation with the 100 Village Project. So I'm really grateful. And I'm going to be visiting the front line in Cambodia very soon. Now that we've completed the Chonoguk leaders meeting, I'm really excited to get out there and meet our leaders, our members, and everyone out there. So these are examples that we want to multiply in other nations. And it's going to start with each nation. And you know, you might want to be a part of this for your nation. Each nation, we need to establish a team that can research. We need to really think practically, substantially, logically. Honestly, we know that family breakdown is at the base of everything. However, every country has a different way of understanding or approaching that problem. And many of them may have, like Thailand, they may have resources allocated to solving that problem. We've got some great breakthroughs that Dr. Kittle has been expressing, for example, in the Philippines, I believe also Thailand and Cambodia, but models where we are cooperating with the government in terms of our education in the schools. So this is another example of cooperation. If we know what the government wants to buy, then we know how to sell what we have, in other words. That's one way of expressing it. So we need to understand what is the key problem of the nation, and particularly how does the government understand it, such that when we show up with the solution, they recognize the value. And a lot of this has to do also with documenting our work. We have to establish a baseline. If poverty is the issue, or out of marriage, birth or teenage pregnancy, or the divorce rate, or whatever the problem is, we need to look at the baseline statistics and then show how our work positively impacts those metrics. The government is going to beg us to help at that point, right? So these are models of success we want to multiply. All right, so that's really the mass membership. Now, you know, that includes blessing and education, by the way. Now I want to come in a little bit more into the core member. So like I said, Chombo is everything. We are all destined for Chombo. Nobody should be thinking that this is just for some members or for members who have more time or more money or something like that. This is for all of us. And not just us. This is for everyone. This is everyone's destiny. So this is the final kind of finish line for every blessed central family. So we really need to establish substantial Chombo families where we reach out to and bless at least 43, if not 430, fully educated and blessed as members, okay? So what we want to do also, though, in terms of our Chombo culture is open our minds, you know, open our arms, open our doors to more people. In Asia, you love your ancestors, don't you? You know, in the West, it's a little bit more difficult to get people thinking about ancestor worship or praying to your ancestors, although we used to do it in Rome. But since then, we kind of lost that practice, and it's not practiced in Christianity. So branding our wish papers as like the thing that you got to do to help your ancestors, to bring fortune on your life, but not just the wish papers. Counseling the rich families, the elites. We've got the recipe, we've got the solution to their problems. A lot of these rich guys have more complicated family situations than regular folks. So we should help them. We should reach out to them. We should invite them to our ancestor liberation and blessing. And yes, let's imagine them flying to the event in their private jet, right? We should be conducting this level of Chombo celebration. Really, this is incredible. It's a blessing from heaven, and it doesn't just belong to us, those that know about it. It belongs to everybody. Heavenly Parent wants to liberate everyone and bless everyone, not just people that, you know, look like us maybe, but these people too. So that's one thing we want to do. We want to break through with a model of this by 2022. Okay. I proclaimed in front of the entire world that our most important people are our members. You are the VIPs. And of course, we are the VIPs. We need to act like the VIPs. You know, VIPs are owners. They are owners. They're not waiting, you know, for somebody to tell them what to do. They're not thinking that, you know, they don't always ask for permission maybe, but they really take ownership. And I think that sometimes it's easy for us to get lost in the rush of the event, the campaign. Sometimes we might feel that we're not as important as the next member or the next leader or something like this. This is completely a misunderstanding. These are the most precious people. You are the most precious people in the world. Regardless of your background, regardless of your current status, True Parents found you. You are the fruit of True Parents Foundation. You are the fruit of Heaven's foundation. You are the fruit of history, regardless of your status. To be able to find and recognize True Parents and work with True Parents is not easy. And to stay in this is even harder because it requires so much sacrifice, I know. So I really want us to respect one another and expect from one another great things. Each one of us, Chombo, each one of us leading something, right? So one of the things we want to focus on, especially for younger people that are coming in, is focusing on raising the Cheonilguk citizen GDP, right? We want to be more successful. We want to, let's help one another be more successful. Think about it. We are the best people. And so I think we should help market our people to serve in and work in society. What we want to do, especially to help raise up our new members that are joining, we want to target young people to establish this kind of internal and external education for excellence in the workplace, regardless of where you're going. We want to work with companies, build staffing agencies. It's like an HR department that can help consolidate our human resources and essentially market our people to the workplace. Those that, you know, have completed some internal foundation or some offering, now you're getting ready to start your family. Maybe you need a job. Well, maybe you're going to be leading a center or as a pastor or a church leader, or maybe you're going to be doing something else. Whatever you're doing, we want to help you become professionally successful. And Tongyol Mudo is kind of an example of that, where it's a very practical educational tool that you can even use that to generate income. So there's some models of that already. So that's an example. So we're basically extending the idea of what it means to have like training in our movement, right? To be a family-fed member, ultimately, over the next few years, we need to develop the culture and systematized organization that can produce people who are excellent internally and really know how to apply themselves in the external marketplace as well. That is a heavenly Cheonilguk citizen. And that's leading to this. So future leaders, at least 100,000 core youth can be developed in this way by 2027. Imagine if we put our minds to it that way. We've got such good internal foundation education, but it is difficult. I think many of you notice that it is difficult to retain membership. At a certain point, they may not find what they need by associating with us full time. We need a certain percentage of everything. Look at it. This is how I see it. Whatever the percentages are, a large number of people simply need to get a job, become successful in society, become the CEOs of the companies, the leaders in society, and donate to the church activities. Yes, and participate and support. So you're still full-time. You're a full-time Cheonilguk citizen. You're a full-time supporter of Heavenly Parents and True Parents. And some percentage will be not only leaders of their own businesses and so on, but they'll be leaders, political leaders in society, and Heavenly Parent Holy Community leaders. We need leaders in every sector, especially our church. Yes, some people feel uniquely called to work for Family Federation or UPF or Women's Federation, right? But, you know, the person who wants to go and build a business isn't less faithful. You might say they need more faith to go out there, especially if somehow they might feel that they're not as important. So I don't want people to feel that way. Let us work together nation by nation. Every nation is at a different stage of growth. Some nations might not be ready for this. In some cases, it might still be so much a pioneering phase. We need all hands on deck, all hands on deck. But we need to quickly establish a foundation where we can become successful and support every pipeline, every sector of society, whether it's business, academia, entertainment, media, politics, and our own church leadership. Okay, real quick, overcoming ideology. Okay, the best way to overcome ideology is with heart and love, I think, right? But we do have some models of success, for example, through sports. Father always taught us you can overcome a lot, make a common base through sports, and we've seen breakthroughs of this with Tongil Mudo. So one of our goals by 2023 is to be one of the official sports of the Southeast Asia Sea Games. So that's something to pray for. And now, in terms of Korea, this is one of the strategy points that every region needs to support somehow. We need to be able to influence the unification of North and South Korea. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? First of all, we need to imagine Korea being heavenly and being unified. Now, that's what a map of Korea would look like when it doesn't have a line down the middle, but actually has true parents, heavenly parent, holy community temple in the middle, right? So there's 4 things I'm going to point out right now. First of all, UPF worldwide is working on a major think tank project. This is especially to support a heavenly outcome for the next general election in Korea. And they're bringing 1,000 and just a little over, 1,011 experts in the fields related to the reunification of the Korean Peninsula. 1,011 from outside Korea and 1,011 from within Korea. And over the next 14 months, we're going to be working with these panels to really develop a strong strategy and support for Heavenly Unified Korea. So, of course, Family Fed is going to support that. We also want to promote Korean culture. So Korean culture is already quite popular around the world. And yes, we want to, promote our heavenly Korean culture. Not all of the culture that comes out of Korea is perfectly heavenly. We know that. But I think God is working through a lot of that. The K-pop, the dramas, that's creating some type of a wave that we can support, especially the heavenly filial heart culture of Korea and the language. We want to support Korean language study. Let us all learn Korean over the next 3 years. Definitely next 7 years, absolutely. But even the next 3 years, let us all learn at least basic Korean. Why do you need to learn basic Korean? Maybe because it says it's the universal language in the divine principle. Maybe because you want to understand Korean dramas because, you don't want to read without subtitles. Maybe it's because true parents told you need to study Korean. I'm going to give you a very practical reason why you should study Korean. You already know that I want you to fulfill your chombo victory, right? So as you're doing your chombo, I'm talking to every member in Asia. Please spread the word. Every member in Asia Pacific 1, you're going to be doing chombo. You're going to be doing chombo right now. And as you do it step by step, learn Korean and save a little money. Why? Okay, save a little money every month, put something away, because over the next 7 years, we're going to initiate a whole new kind of pilgrimage to Korea. That's right. When you achieve chombo, I want you to fly to Korea, to go to our true parents' place and offer your victory bow, your celebratory bow of filial heart right there in the heavenly land of Korea. What land? The heavenly unified Korea. Remember, Mother's working on this. So Korea is going to be changing very fast. And I think we should put our minds to practically preparing to physically go there. So what do I mean by that? I don't just mean you saving up a couple $100. I mean you and your tribe saving the money to charter an airplane and fill it with your tribe. That's right. Imagine flying 300 or 400 people on your own plane to Korea and then going on a pilgrimage of True Parents' footsteps throughout the Korean peninsula. That's right. Starting in Cheongju, starting in Anju, what is now North Korea, that we'll be able to get to. We should be thinking like this. We should be planning to tour what is now North Korea. Don't you think? Are you thinking like that? We've got to think this way. Look, I'll let you in on a little secret. This was going to be the strategy that we were preparing in America. The plan was I wanted to bring 1,000 American families to Korea by, I don't know, 2023 or something like that. That doesn't mean 1,000 families. That means 1,000 airplanes. But somehow it looks like that's not part of the current strategy. That means there's no other region in the world that is promoting this kind of an idea. I think we should lead the way here in Asia Pacific 1. We're very close to Korea. Let us imagine saving some money, get an extra job or some fundraising system, or just heaven let it bless you with the means and your tribe members. I think even witnessing might become more easy, right? If we're telling our tribe members, look, here, this is the heavenly truth. And, here's the heavenly unified Korea, True Parents from Korea. And let us study this language together and let us raise some funds together, because once we do this work together, we're going to celebrate with a heavenly honeymoon trip to the heavenly unified Korea. I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is. And you're gonna charter an airplane, and you're gonna rent some buses, and you're gonna have an incredible experience. And so if you start right now, you can raise the money to do that. Your tribe can help you, and heaven will help you. I think we should think like this. So this is one of the activities. Now imagine if we tell the Korean government how many thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of people that we're bringing to Korea. Korea likes that. So many of the things that we're doing, we should report. Again, this is a substantial way to support the heavenly unified Korea. Both North Korean embassies and South Korean embassies exist all throughout Asia Pacific 1. So at least every quarter or maybe every month, we want to report to them the activities that we know that they'll like. That can create a foundation of relationship with them. So this was I presented this in like 16 minutes. I'm sorry I made you sit through maybe now 30, 40 minutes. It's so long. I'm sorry. Maybe you don't understand my English so quick, but hope you can understand my heart and the images, and we'll translate everything well for you so that you can study this more closely. This is just a simple draft. Dr. Yoon also gave a very inspiring report about the next 7 years. So we're going to be adopting and packaging and making this easy for you to understand. So all members, top, bottom, left to right, all of us can be totally united about what we're doing over the next 7 years. Asia Pacific 1 we're going to be joyful. We're going to be happy. We're going to be sweating. We're going to be working hard, but let us do it joyfully. Everything Mother wants us to do with a celebratory heart and really help one another. So that is the end of my brief strategy report. It's just a draft. There's much more that we need to include, and there's much more that I will share with you. And I'm going to be working closely with the sub-regional leaders, the national leaders, all leaders, anybody that can contribute. I want to work together and establish a plan that Asia Pacific 1 is proud of, and that Asia Pacific 1 will excitedly bring results for True Mother. So that was it. That was the end of the report. Thank you, Heavenly Parent, True Parents. If you can guess which nation that is, you get 10 points. That's a beautiful nation in Southeast Asia. All right, next I want to share with you True Mother's words. She spoke for like 5, maybe 7 minutes. Under the Heavenly Parent Holy Community, leaders from around the world and blessed families from around the world, I really want to ask, what resolve did you make in this year of the white cow? Heaven is protecting you, and heaven's blessings will be with each one of you. I think she means especially those of us that made a sincere resolve. But heaven's blessing. This is Mother's first word, is blessing to all of you. Blessing to all of you. The year of the cow is meaningful because in agrarian societies, the year of the cow is the most important year. It is the time when the cows who have played an important role in establishing agrarian societies can bring great harvests. There are many animals that have been domesticated, but the cow is unique because if you look at the life of a cow, they give everything for the sake of human beings. From the bones to the leather, everything. The cow gives everything. They till and plow the field. Furthermore, the cow is known for being obedient, but also loyal and devoted. In Korea, the cow says meh, or more like meh, like that, right? Oh, that's a sheep. Meh, like that. My understanding of a cow noise is meh, meh. They do that. So Mother was talking about this. However, from what I remember, in the West, they say the cow makes the sound moo. So Mother's using this as an example, right? She said, you can really feel the difference between East and West. Korean tries to replicate the sounds of nature. It is a very scientific language. That is why around the world, many people, especially in this age of the internet, try to learn Korean. In the case of English, for example, there are too many words. That's right, True Mother. There's too many words. There's many words for the same thing. It must be a nightmare to learn English. In Chinese, there are too many different vowels. That's true. It's like they're proud of it almost. The many different vowels that sound the same to everyone else, but they're slightly different to the Chinese, right? It's very difficult. But one of the languages that can be learned in a short time, where you can record a large amount of information with a relatively short alphabet, is Korean, a small alphabet, Korean. That's true. Korean is very simple. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because you can feel how heaven has blessed this nation, Korea. For 6,000 years, God has worked to realize the original ideal of creation by restoring fallen human beings, by initiating the providence of restoration. This providence was so difficult. Today, all around the world, we are facing COVID-19 and various other crises. As a result, families are separated, regions are separated, nations are closing their borders. We can see that COVID is hampering the unity and harmony of people around the world. Furthermore, countless issues are arising from the lockdown. Nonetheless, it is only within Heavenly Parents' holy community that you can find messages of unity between families. Do you recognize that we are the hope of the world? Everybody applauded when Mother said that. Then Mother did something nobody expected. She said, when I was very young, I sang this song. I would like to sing this song especially for you. It goes, white calf, you resemble the mother cow who is also white. Very simple song. This is the year of the white cow. Do you know why I sang this song about the cow to you? Today, where can you find hope? You can find hope when you unite with True Mother, the only begotten daughter. When humanity follows the example of True Mother, living for the sake of others, then you can have hope and you can receive God's eternal blessings. Isn't that exactly what we're saying here? Isn't that exactly what our report was for Asia Pacific 1? Unity with True Mother is everything. Unite with True Mother's mind, heart, and action. Do what Mother is doing. Hence, I hope that all blessed families around the world can follow my example and bring people within the environment, within the embrace of Heavenly Parent, so that they can become proud members of the unification family. Blessed families who become Chombo families. This is my request to all of you. Mother's talking. Look, Mother wants the new people that you're witnessing to become Chombo families. That means quickly all of us need to become Chombo families. Those of you that are still working on that, let us help one another. We want to help you get there quickly. Now is the time for you to really bring results. I want to celebrate the achievements of each and every one of you. Mother wants to celebrate the results with us. And in anticipation of that day, if Mother calls you, will you run to my side? May heaven's blessing and love be with your families, your nations. May heaven's eternal blessings be with you. Be healthy. This was Mother's final word at the closing remarks at the Chonoguk leaders meeting just this weekend. So, brothers and sisters, I hope you're able to follow this kind of rough presentation. I hope that each one of you can feel you are the VIP of heaven. Our leaders work so hard. Please support them. You know, they never know what next challenge is coming. I think many times members feel like members are working hard and leaders are just passing on. But actually, it's so hard to be a leader because you need to try and somehow do the things that you're asking the members to do first. If you come up with a sermon or a message, you have to check yourself first. Do I even do this? You know, so honestly, all of us are lacking so much, right? All of us are lacking. But we here in Asia Pacific One, we're special. We're young. We're powerful. We have 20 nations and 17 different languages. Let's figure out how to use that to our advantage. Let us really understand our unique national identities, but also our sub-regional and regional identity. I hope that you can feel proud to be Asia Pacific One. I hope that you are happy with Mother's choice to drag me from the other side of the world, my family, to be here with you in Asia. I hope that you can feel God working through me. You know, many people say, "Oh, you know, Damien has passion or energy, or maybe he knows how to use media or something like this." This isn't the reason that I'm here. Okay. Asia now on a strong foundation is about to go to a whole new level. I'm talking a whole new level. You got to think like way outside whatever box we've been thinking. We stand on a strong foundation, and everywhere around the world now, Mother wants every nation, every region to just go up to the next level. So that's what we're here to do. That's what we're going to be doing together. We're going to become wealthy internally and externally. Not by waiting for someone else to help me. I got to figure it out. We're going to become self-sufficient so that we can help one another. Really think that way. So right now, I have asked every brother, sister, father, mother, son, and daughter in the Heavenly Parent Holy Community of Asia to donate. This is a gift. I'm not buying something. We want to give money as a gift. This is external financial resource. Why are we doing this? Why are we collecting our offering to give as a gift to Mother? Mother hasn't asked for this. International headquarters didn't send me a memo and ask for this. I asked God, how can we help all of the blessed families in Asia? I'm worried about many of you under COVID-19 now for a year. And my concern is, how are many of you surviving? Our family has struggled. So I wonder, how are all of your families doing? And so I prayed to God, what can we do to help? Especially some of our nations, some of our families really struggling. What can we do to help? Yes, maybe we can ask for more money. We can ask for more help. I'm kind of trying to think first about how we can create sustainable models of income to help at the regional, sub-regional, and national levels. But as I prayed to God, God gave me an unexpected answer. And he said, no, Damien, I know you want to help. I even reported to Mother, I really want to find ways to help. And God said something unexpected, right? He said, Damien, first, I need you to find out truly the depth of heart of our members in Asia. Meaning, if we over the next 7 years are going to become a people who are self-reliant, self-sufficient, we need to make some kind of condition. God said, you need to ask, even though many of them may be very humble, you need to ask them to make a condition. So this isn't for True Parents' birthday. This isn't for the rally. This isn't for some program. This is for an unexpected gift that Mother doesn't even know about yet. Truly, I wish it can be the biggest gift we've ever given, because Mother's not expecting it. Mother's not asking it. Let me give you a quick example. I hope, Reverend Hajime, you don't mind. One of the, I believe it was a center leader, one of the leaders in Cambodia. Cambodia out in the countryside, they need all the support they can get. And so many families have sponsored Heavenly Tribal Messiahship activity. I think you know that, from outside of Asia. And Reverend Hajime went to meet with one of the organizers in one of the local areas. And he went there with the mind to ask for a donation for the Heavenly Parent Holy Community gift that we want to give to True Mother. He asked for this donation, and as the member came to him, the member was coming to ask for money from Hajime, actually. He said, I need $700 to, another $700 to fulfill these kinds of activity plans that I have. And Reverend Hajime said, well, actually, I've not come to give you money. I've come to ask for you to donate for this gift that we're all giving to True Mother. And I think he gave everything he had. He gave $200 to Reverend Hajime. And when I heard this testimony, I realized that that $200 has the heavenly value of $900, because he was coming to ask for, he needs $700. It's like his pockets are already empty. He needs support from heaven, $700 to do heaven's work. But instead of receiving $700, he gave $200. That means he actually gave an offering of $900, like that. And I feel heaven can recognize that kind of offering. Look, brothers and sisters, I want to record each one of your names. I'm not trying to make anybody feel shame or anything. Nothing. But I want you to feel, I want each member to feel some stretch, some pain like that brother felt. When he needs $700, he's giving $200. I want you to give from your heart such that you feel that little bit of, oh God, I wasn't expecting that, but something that I want you to move heaven. It's not me, it's you. I want you to move heaven's heart, and, but not just as a family. I want each member of the family to somehow decide what can they give, how can they give, So I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to break. I want to help you. But God told me I need to ask you to do this so that we can establish a brand new level of condition for Asia Pacific 1. Okay, a brand new level. This is the very first Heavenly Parent Holy Community donation in the world. I've heard nobody else doing this. The first Heavenly Parent Holy Community donation. I want to give it next week to True Mother. Somehow we got to get it there. Before True Parent's birthday, before all of that stuff starts to happen, let us do this. And maybe even we should think at the beginning, the first of the year, every year we should have this kind of tradition maybe we should make. Later we can talk about it, okay? But right now, I'm sorry, this extra time is like an announcement. Mother wants to help you. Heaven wants to help you. But first, if we can show the kind of depth of our determination, and don't just ask the regular people. Go out and ask your tribe members. Ask your Ambassador for Peace contacts that have been supporting for years. Have they ever donated? Let us really expand the foundation for heaven to be able to bring an incredible miracle that none of us can even imagine yet here in Asia. Let us establish that as our very first substantial offering in Asia in this new year as a Heavenly Parent, Holy Community family. Thank you, brothers and sisters. God bless you. I love you. Looking forward to continuing on our message with True Mother's Autobiography next week. And until then, have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic week. Parents, please hug your children for me. I'm looking forward to buying them an ice cream or whatever it is you like to do. I love you. I miss you. I'm looking forward to coming to your nations and seeing you. Until then, I believe that Asia Pacific One was well represented for the Chonoguk Leaders Meeting. And I believe that True Mother loved Asia Pacific One's report more than any other. I promise you. Already I heard many things, but I won't say anything. But that's what I believe. God bless you. Aju.